Yeah, Canucks lost. Chris Russell, 30 seconds left.
Yep.
Alright, well, let's start off with talking about the final goal that was scored on us. Hemmed into our own end for about, I would say, like a minute.
Yeah, good long shift there by Calgary.
Yeah, Colborne had a really, took the body on Horvat and
protected the puck.
Exactly. So, and it was one of those things that it's just unfortunate to see it happen right at the end of the period.
Point shot from the blue line. Chris Russell threw a screen, maze of bodies in front. Lack had two ways to look. He looked right and went left. It's just one of those, what do you do?
I'm not totally upset about this loss. I personally thought the Canucks deserved this win.
Yeah, Canucks, a lot of chances towards the net. There were some rebounds there. There were just pucks lying around the crease. Hiller played extremely well for Calgary. There were some saves that I thought were going to be goals. There were a couple plays, tap-ins. Daniel had one, a bang-bang play that Hiller just got the right pad out. Played really well. Lack played well.
Lack played well.
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't tested a whole ton in the beginning of the game. Obviously, you know, Canucks had that first period in the bag. When he was tested, he played well. Obviously, it sucks to lose the game, but, you know, what can you do? It's a 2-1 game.
It was close throughout. I thought transition, both teams got chances. Goalies, obviously, they played really well. Both teams rolled 4 lines. Everyone looked fresh. Canucks depth was pretty good. Our first line, Sedins and Burrows, I thought they played well.
They played really well.
Yeah.
I mean, they were getting their chances. They're just there's vintage Sedinery out there, honestly. Classic Canuck hockey. They played well. That second line, on the other hand,
not so much. Bonino, Higgins, Verbata, they struggled to create offense. The pucks were bobbling on their sticks. They just couldn't create a forecheck. They couldn't create any zone time.
They couldn't get out of their own end.
Yeah, that
breakouts were brutal.
Yeah, just a tough game overall for them. That line, Dorsett, Matthias, Richardson, I thought they played really well. Yes, exactly. Physical, had a lot of zone time, created some chances.
They were a playoff team. Like that was a playoff line.
That was.
You see Matthias, big body, can bring it to the net. Brings it to the net hard. You got Dorsett, who just bangs bodies anytime, any plays. And then Richardson, who is your prototypical third line center. Pretty decent in the face-off circle. Yeah. And you could trust him in both ends of the ice.
First game back after a while. I thought he played really well.
Yeah, great chemistry with that line.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't miss a step.
And that fourth line, Horvat, Hansen, Ronnie Kennens, I thought they were the best line.
Oh yeah.
I thought they created chances. Obviously, Bo Horvat.
Not even just because of the goal.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't even need to score the goal, and I probably would have still called them the best line.
They played really well. Kennens threw the body around.
Yep.
Hansen was just flying like he always does. Yep. And then Horvat just went to the net hard. They all played well. It's unfortunate they were on the ice for the last goal. Calgary, on the other hand, good game for them as well. A lot of chances. Sam Bennett, his first playoff game, just his second NHL game.
Sam Bennett was scary. I mean, in that first period, he had around 2 or 3 chances where he kind of just cut into the middle.
Hard to the net.
Exactly. And you know, you don't see that a lot with 18-year-olds. I mean, Bennett's not that big of a guy. He's more of a playmaker type of stuff.
This is the guy that couldn't do one pull-up at the combine.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember that?
Oh, I totally forgot about that. Yeah.
This is that guy.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh god, that makes it so much worse.
He's, you know, when he was getting drafted, the Doug Gilmore, but he's not a big body, but he plays a big game.
Oh, he plays a great game.
Yeah. That first line, Goudreau, Monahan, Hudler, I thought the Canucks, for the most part, they did a great job. They didn't create much.
They were shutting them down.
Third period, they started to play better.
You know, they settled in, and that's kind of something you expect out of a young team.
First playoff game for so many of them.
Exactly. Yeah. David Jones was saying after the game that, you know, it took them a little bit to settle in. The crowd was wild at the Raj, so they got to the second to the third period and they kind of slowed it down to what they want to play, and you could definitely tell. The first period was just a huge, they're flustered.
Yes, they were. The Canucks obviously had a great first period, a lot of chances. After that, the Flames started to get their legging. One thing that I thought hurt the Canucks was their power play. After the first one, the first power play was very good. They started the second with power play for about 1:45, and another power play in the second. I thought both of those were kind of momentum killers.
Yeah.
They didn't create much, no zone time. Yeah, it was tough. Second unit as well, they did nothing really on that power play. It's kind of been the problem with the power play all year. It's just been one unit creating all the offense. That second unit struggled.
But yeah, I mean, give some credit to Calgary. They played really good defensively. A lot of that due to Dennis Wideman, Chris Russell.
Yeah, it seemed like they were out there the whole game. They were blocking a lot of shots. Chris Russell led the league in blocks. block. Doing it again today. Canucks had trouble sometimes getting pucks towards the net. Those two played a really good game. It looked at the start of the game, the Canucks were playing really physical on Wideman, finishing their checks. Fortunately, those two start to move the puck really well towards the second and third period. Obviously, Chris Russell gets the game winner, assisted by Dennis Wideman. So they played a really strong game. You got to give Calgary credit there. Their blue line is aggressive along with TJ Brody. They can create offense. So the Canucks had to watch out for that. It bit them towards the end. But we'll see if they make any changes on how they play those guys for game 2.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how Bob Hartley kind of chooses to play those two defensemen. I mean, they're playing a ton. I don't know what the exact minutes were that they ended the night with, but I mean, I saw an intermission. Corey Potter had like 5 or 6 minutes played time on ice, which is absolutely insane for a defenseman. Yeah. And I mean, it's first game too.
Yeah. So you're gonna have to see if they choose to manage the minutes at any point. Obviously, if the game's close, you'd think that Hartley is just gonna keep putting its playoff. But it's gonna be interesting to see if they wear down at all. Alright, so game 1 obviously over. Game 2, do you see the Canucks making any changes? Only scored 1 goal. They had chances. You see a guy like Vey who can create offense at times. You see him coming in. Do you see any major line changes to the second line or anything?
I think saying Vey can create scoring chances is a bit of a stretch. I just think Richardson and that third line played so well. Like, why dismantle that? I personally think that there was nothing wrong with this game. Other than the finishing, I just think Hiller stole the game. What can you do? I mean, it's a hot goalie. We know Hiller can do this.
We've seen him do it before. It was just one of those. Yeah, I agree with that. Hiller played really well. In the third period, I thought the Canucks had a lot of grade A scoring chances. It was just Hiller. Craig Simpson, Jim Houston mentioned it a lot. Wrong-handed goalie, catches with the right. So we'll see if the Canucks adjust to that. A lot of shots, what would normally be blocker side, right to his glove, which is a strong point. We'll see if there's any changement in the game plan there.
Yeah.
Fucking changement.
Changement?
Game 2, Friday, 7 p.m. Pacific. Hopefully Hiller next game performed below average, resulting in him getting pulled in favor of Kerry Ramo, giving the Canucks a major advantage.
Yeah, and hopefully he sucks.